All right. Hey everyone. We are here at Grounded's new warehouse. You could pan around a little bit, Zach. We got the team here. We've got one bright drop fresh from the factory over here on the right, and then a completed G2 right behind me that we're gonna walk through today. Yeah, should be fun, light, interactive. So feel free to ask questions in the chat. Nick's going to be monitoring the chat and reading out questions in real time. So, yeah, we want this to be interactive. So, yeah, keep the questions coming. We'll answer them, and meanwhile, we're going to start walking you through the vehicle and showing you what we got here. So this is we'll start with the outside. This is the G2. This is our 250-mile range electric camper van. The platform's a GM bright drop, so it's the Ultium battery, 173 kilowatt hours. And I'll let Zach just kind of show the outside a little bit for a minute. So we'll do the outside first, and then we'll kind of go inside. The platform was designed as a delivery van, so it has some interesting features as a delivery van, like these sliding doors. In fact, all doors are sliding, so even we'll see in the back, it's a roll-up garage door, which I think is actually kind of nice for an RV product because there's no, you don't have to worry about clearance. If you want to back up into some rocks on a lake shore or something like that, there's no clearance of the doors. This is the charger. These current models are CCS, so this will work with any of the public EV charging networks like Electrify America and ChargePoint. GM has signed an agreement with Tesla, like every other major OEM in the world at this point. So very soon, supposedly as soon as this month, this will be compatible with Tesla superchargers as well, through a CCS to NACS adapter, which is really great for all EV owners. This is your water fill. So you just take that off. Here we got the back. So again, we'll go inside in a bit. Make sure you're good with these cords, Zach. Just watch the one connected there. So like I said, roll up garage door. Also, this is a good time to talk about the wrap. So as you saw, we have some artwork on the side of the van. This is green. We can do custom wraps for people. So the vans come in either white or black. We can wrap them with our artwork, with or without the logo. And if people are interested in like custom wraps with custom nature artwork or anything else, we can do custom vehicle wraps on the side. It's 3M vinyl, so it's super durable, lasts a long time. Back here you've got tons of storage space, garage space under here, suitcases, luggage. The Grounded vehicles are a modular system, so when you purchase one of the G2s, you can actually customize the interior layout a bit. So that means you'll see more when we go inside, but we use a grid system. All the furniture are multiples of our standard grid unit. So for example, the kitchen, you can choose either 2 units wide, or if you want more counter space, 3 unit wide kitchen. The benches, you can do a 1 unit bench, a 2 unit bench, a 3 unit bench. The shower, the indoor by the way, one big change, if you were on the last live stream in November, we're gonna show you an indoor shower in this one, like we promised. The indoor shower is 2 units wide. We can do a closet, instead if you just want the outdoor shower. So there's a lot of options and customization. The placement too, right? Like if you don't want the shower in the corner there, if you want it closer to the bed, all that is possible with our modular system. And that also includes the bed height too. So if you have bikes, that you want to have in the back garage area, we can basically lift the bed up so that you get more height back here. We're also going to be rolling out in the near future actuators for the bed to make the bed go up and down. So that'll give even more flexibility. Like during the day, you could have the bed up, so you get a lot more room, and then at night, without having to unmake and remake the bed, bring the bed down. Yeah, and this is a full queen size bed. And then under the bed, behind this sort of garage facade, down there is where all of what we call the utility modules are. So that's got your freshwater tank, an additional 10 kilowatt hour house battery that we add, your charge controller, your inverter, all that good stuff, the computer that we put inside to control all the smart outlets. So we can also show you today the app. We have a mobile app, and it lets you both in person when you're in the van or remotely control and monitor everything. So you can see battery status, you can see how much solar is coming in, you can see exactly how much power every single appliance is using. You can control them, you can turn them on and off and do all that good stuff. So so all the stuff that controls all that is sort of under there. Let's keep going around. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we're struggling a little bit with cord lengths here, but
I can follow you with the table.
why don't you, yeah, Matt, why don't you follow with the table?
It's a good time to close that
I just
door
want to
so
show
we can
just
just
pretty much the outlet right here. So right here we have an exterior outlet. So if you're hanging out at the campground or outside in nature, you can plug in a speaker or an exterior light or something like that. This is a shore power hookup. So the house battery that we add, you can charge via shore power. There's also 1,000 watts of solar on the roof. So the house battery charges from 1,000 watts of solar, shore power if you plug it in, and it also charges from the vehicle battery. So every time you turn the van on and you're driving or you're sitting there, the house battery is also charging from the vehicle battery. Should we go inside?
Yeah.
You want to come this way? We've also, you'll probably notice if you were following along, we've added more windows and they're much bigger, and I think you'll see when we go inside, it's a much better, much more natural light kind of experience compared to this sort of first version that we had.
Oh, just before we go inside, we've got one question from Jeffrey. He's asking, what are the panels in the corners under the bed?
The panels in the corner. I think that you're talking about the wheel wells. So those are, just over the wheels. The van has kind of wheel wells that go over that, and so I think that's what you were seeing there.
One other question.
Oh, one other question?
Is asking about the roller door and how well it seals for temperature control. So if we want to show our interior insulation, we can.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to talk about the insulation, both on the door and in general?
Zach, do you want to come up?
Yeah.
Pull that down a bit and look at the inside.
So on the garage door here, you might get a better view when we step inside.
By the way, this is Matt, our lead mechanical engineer.
Yep. Hello. So we put an insulated barrier on the A side on the interior of the vehicle. It's kind of like a faux brick, but it is insulative and sound barrier. But in terms of weather seal from the outside, it comes stock from GM/Bright Drop with great weather seals. And we have a lot of sick insulation improvements on the interior, which we can talk about. Vehicle is locked.
Hey, there's the key.
Here, I think we can head
Go around.
And then, Nick, do you want to read that question?
And then we've
too?
got another question here talking about insurance providers. So the question is, can we get the insurance providers to catch up with policies as well as rates that are EV consumer friendly?
Yeah, it's a good question. Insurance with RVs is always hard. EV or not, I think RV insurance policies are something that has always been a little bit tricky. It's not a product. It's not part of our. We don't offer insurance ourselves right now. Our kind of preferred insurance partner is Roamly. They're an outdoorsy partner, and they do a really good job with RV insurance policies in general. So we've had customers insure these vehicles with Roamly. Go inside?
Yep.
Oh, Matt, did you want to talk about the foam too while we walk inside?
Yeah, so behind all of these walls that you'll see, there is 2 inches of EPS foam. So we have an R value of like R15ish. So we have 2 inches of the EPS foam that's all CNC routed to fit into our sub-assemblies and everything. And we also have like a layer of Havla. So big improvements on insulation in this one, and it's certainly noticeable. Let me take it out.
Cool. Yeah, so let's go inside. Let me scoot by you. So, this is the inside of the G2. Like I was saying before, it's a modular system, so everything is a multiple of our standard 500 millimeter grid size. So, for example, this kitchen is 3 units wide. It's 1500 millimeters. So you can imagine this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit. If you don't care as much about counter space and you want like another module, like you want more seating, a longer bench, something like that, you know, we can do a 2 module kitchen where basically you could imagine that the stove and the fridge would be essentially here, and then this sort of third of it goes away. You can see we have a kind of a dual opening fridge down here, so it opens from both sides, which is kind of a cool feature, like that. We have lots of storage space with netting kind of under here, lots of overhead storage, and then we expose these mounting rails as a feature so that you can actually move modules around yourself. So as a customer, you have the option to kind of improve and change your vehicle over time. So if you have a life change, like you have a kid and now you want to replace, you know, for example, this whole 3-seater bench with a twin size bed, you know, that's something that's totally feasible. You can actually take out a few bolts and remove this whole piece. We can send you the twin bed and you can install that yourself. And similar, like with these overhead cabinets, you know, these you can take out, you can move them if you'd rather have them, you know, over the bed or closer to the bed, or you want more later on, or you want to take one out. That's always an option. There's all sorts of other kind of accessories we plan to offer in the future that mount to these too, like reading lamps and things like that, that, you know, shelving units that you could mount to these, so you can kind of, again, like customize and change and improve your vehicle over time. This is our indoor shower, indoor wet bath. We have a hot water heater that's part of the utility module I mentioned. So I think we're doing I think we have a choice between a 5-gallon and a 7.5-gallon electric water heater. Again, with the remotely controllable app, you could turn your hot water heater on when you're finishing up your hike so that the hot water is ready as soon as you get back to the van and you can take a hot indoor shower. It has a toilet inside. The toilet is removable. We're toilet agnostic, so if you want a composting toilet, if you want a dry flush toilet with the foil bags you throw away, or if you want a cassette toilet with the cartridges that you remove, we can do any of those. This table you know, folds down and comes up, so it can kind of get out of the way. I don't think I mentioned we have an electric heat pump as well, so for interior HVAC back here. I mean, the vehicle itself, the vehicle platform itself has a heat pump, but it really only was designed to temperature control the front driver's cabin, so we add an additional electric heat pump back here that can do hot and cold, and again, we've really well insulated the vehicle, so that should be pretty effective even in very cold and hot temperatures. We've got outlets in a bunch of places. What else should I talk about? What else? Do we have questions?
So a couple questions in the chat. Mary is asking how tall and how long is the van. So I'm just going to send these details into chat so you've got it there. But for everyone else, the length is 290 inches, the height is 120 inches, and the width is 106.2 inches.
And those are interior or exterior?
Exterior dimensions.
Those are exterior dimensions, yeah. So that's another thing. So this vehicle comes in 2 lengths, actually. So the one that we're in is the bigger of the 2. It's called the Zevo 600. It's just under 24 feet exterior length. The shorter one is the Zevo 400, and that's about 20 feet exterior length. So we have access to both of those vehicle platforms. So depending on, if you want something that's a little bit of a smaller footprint, a little bit easier to fit into, city parking spaces, you could do the shorter of the two. But they're otherwise identical in every way. So the height is the same, the width is the same, and it works with our whole modular system. Obviously, you just lose, I don't know exactly what it is, maybe two of the, the modules of that grid system if you switch to the shorter length. And I'm about 5'9.5" ish, so you can see how much, how tall this is. So this is actually just over 6.5 feet of standing room right here. So for the vast majority of people, that's totally sufficient, and a lot more height than I think you'll find in a lot of other vehicles.
Yep. And then we've got a question from Peter here asking, is it a 400 and 800 volt system, and what is the theoretical max DC charge rate?
That is a great question. We should follow up in the chat. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head. And he's talking about the vehicle platform. So the question was, what's the voltage and what's the fastest DC charging rate? We'll follow up in the chat with that because I don't want to say the wrong numbers. But you can charge this vehicle about 80% in about an hour and a half at a fast DC charger. And again, the cool thing with an RV is that while it's charging, you can come inside your RV, you can take a nap, you can cook a meal, you can take a shower, you can do work with your Starlink internet, you can, do whatever you want. So it's actually, it's such a big battery that's a little bit longer to charge, but the nice thing is you have your whole home on wheels, sitting right here. Should we?
And then
more questions?
Kim is asking, what is our insulation factor?
Yeah, Matt, I think you were saying he thinks it's about R15
Yeah, it's
value.
about R15 with a combination of the pink EPS and the Havelock.
Yeah, so we use a combination of the pink EPS foam. So basically, so you can step inside again. So behind all, well, actually, let me take a second to explain our whole approach. So we basically build an entire substructure out of aluminum. So these extrusions that you see, this is all aluminum extrusion. So we basically build, this entire interior structure on our warehouse floor as a standalone aluminum structure. And then, like Matt was saying, we use 2-inch insulative EPS foam that basically envelopes the whole exterior of this substructure. We CNC, all of the routing for plumbing and electrical through that structure. And then we also use some Havelock wool, which, just as additional insulation in some of the, the crevices and things like that. So there's a combination of basically 2-inch EPS foam everywhere, and then some sheep's wool, kind of for additional hard to get places around the vehicle.
We should shut the door and show the garage door installation.
Okay, yeah.
That's a good segue. Kim's asking another question. Can the tool-up door be replaced? So I'm assuming you mean the garage slide-up door, Kim, but correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, so you can see on the insulation that we added to that interior face of the garage door. Replacing that door is not something that we do right now. It's definitely something that we've thought about. Maybe at some point in the future we'll offer it, but as of now, it's just the roll-up door.
And then you good?
Yeah.
And then some inside knowledge from Kevin here. I heard you might be developing an option for convertible sofa bed in the back if you don't want a permanent bed.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, the beauty of our whole modular system, especially the size of company we are right now, we're developing anything and everything we can. We're really excited about convertible beds and the modularity and the kind of flexibility it offers people. And then, as Kim mentions here, if people reach out to us and kind of suggest or tell us what they really want, we're super flexible to try and develop something cool that fits people's needs, whatever it may be. If it's lots of seating in beds, is it raisable beds, is it convertible sofa beds, we're looking into it all and developing something super cool. So yes, Kevin, we are.
You want to head back outside? Any other questions?
Yeah, got a few coming in here. So
Okay.
another one from Kim. Can you replace the CCS with NACS without an adapter?
We can't replace the CCS with NACS on the vehicle. The issue with there's pros and cons of us kind of like building on top of another platform. So we're building on top of the GM BrightDrop platform. It's got pros and cons, and if we, even though there are certain things that might be electrically possible to do, such as like directly hooking into the high voltage battery ourselves or changing the charge port, you'll start to run into issues like GM's not going to cover that under their vehicle warranty, which you don't really want as an owner. So it has like the GM warranty on the vehicle part of this product is a very standard multi-year 100,000 mile warranty. So so we're not gonna directly change like the charge port or something like that, but again, the nice thing is that as soon as the Tesla partnership with GM comes into effect in the next month or two, you'll be able to use a CCS to NACS adapter and charge at Tesla superchargers.
Great. And then one from Seth here. What is the overall vehicle weight and load capacity?
That is also a great question. So the gross vehicle weight rating of this vehicle is 11,000 pounds. We'll have to put in the chat the exact payload capacity after the upfit and everything. It does slightly depend on like which modules you get, because as you can imagine, like certain ones are heavier than others, and we also let customers customize the house battery size in increments of 5 kilowatt hours. So if you want a 5 kilowatt hour house battery, 10 kilowatt hour, 15 kilowatt hour, obviously that there could potentially be a couple 100 pounds of weight difference. So things like that will affect payload capacity, but yeah, we'll follow up with specific numbers there. And anyone on the live stream who wants to kind of go forward in the process and really learn more, like we have a whole sales document with all the specs, like all the safety features of the vehicle, all the exact dimensions, exterior, interior, all the electrical specs, fast charging specs, payload capacity, all that good stuff. So definitely follow up. It's super easy to get in contact with us. There's a form. I think my face pops up as soon as you go to our website, so you can type there. We'll get that. You can email us at info@groundedrvs.com, and we're happy to send you, any information that we didn't cover here today.
Great. A couple of pricing questions coming in from Jill and 2 here. So how much does it cost?
So the G2 is $195,000, which we think is a pretty competitive price in the RV world. It's maybe slightly premium compared to gas-powered Class B camper van, but but it's not like double the price of professional Class B camper vans out there. So yeah, $195,000, and then we are planning to launch a trailer product in the next 12 months, and that's going to be a tow-behind RV trailer that's going to be aerodynamic and lightweight and have a lot of the same features, same modular capability, similar design on the interior, and that's going to be a much lower price point.
Great. And then a question from Isaac. What sort of safety features are there?
So it's pretty standard. It's pretty standard safety features. It's got a 360, camera, backup camera, that type of thing. It's got, blinder indicators. It's got, park assist features. The vehicle platform from GM has, I would say pretty state-of-the-art features like that, safety features. Also on the infotainment side of things, it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so either platform you can connect your phone and do all that good stuff. And it's got Google Maps built in, which is nice.
And like you mentioned, all of that stuff's listed in the deck that we can send
Yeah.
out to everyone.
Yeah. So all safety features is also something that's in that deck that we can send out.
Question from Charles here: is there a northwest bed arrangement option?
Northwest. Oh, so I guess Charles is asking about the orientation of the bed. Yeah, that's definitely something that we can adjust and work with you on fitting that into our modular system in a way that works for you. So yeah, we can adjust that orientation for sure.
And then one from Seth here: do we offer a tow package, and what's the van's tow rating?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is one of the platform limitations. This vehicle is really not meant to tow anything, so there is no tow hitch and there's no rated tow capacity. Honestly, if you did try to tow anything with this vehicle, it would have a really large impact on your EV range anyway. So, not something that we would recommend. But it does have. Actually, can we go back to the rear of the vehicle? It has this kind of step feature in the back. So one nice thing is it does have this. So one thing that we've talked about with customers before is potentially designing like some kind of bike rack or something like that onto this step here. So that's something else that we're working on. If you want to bring some bikes with you, and if you want to save the storage space in the garage area and put them on the exterior instead.
And then a question here from Morris: what is the range in miles when it's 100% charged?
Yeah, so the EPA rated range is 250 miles. We've actually gotten a lot more range than that. We took this vehicle on a 1,500 mile road trip around the state of Michigan when we launched it, all the way up to the Upper Peninsula, to Marquette and Big Bay, if you know Michigan. When you cross the Mackinac Bridge into the Upper Peninsula, it's a complete EV charging desert. For I don't know the exact number of miles, maybe 150, something like that, all the way to Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. So that was kind of our first test, like real world test, where it's like, all right, we really need to be able to get to where we're going here without any EV chargers. And on that leg of the trip, we got 300 miles on a single charge with this vehicle. So the biggest impact of range that you as a customer will have, like a lever, when you're driving it, is going to be your speed. So we have found that when you go above, call it 65 miles an hour, you start to see, a real impact on range. And conversely, if you really keep like slow speeds, I mean, if you're on rural roads or something like that, doing a lot of city driving, like I said, we actually saw up to 300 miles of range on a single charge.
Seth's just made a comment there in response. The step would be a great place for integration of the gearbox and or bike rack.
Yeah, for sure.
Not wrong, Seth, not wrong. And then another question here, I think referencing the raisable bed we mentioned earlier. Once the bed will be able to go up, would someone be able to sleep whilst the bed is up?
There's no, it'll be electronically actuated, so yeah, as long as you leave yourself enough room to fit, and you're able to get up to however high you have it, then yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't sleep with it elevated.
And then another question here, do we have handicap access? I think we've spoken about this before. We don't currently in this one, but it's definitely something we're really interested in doing to make these vehicles more inclusive. If you want to reach out to us directly, we can definitely talk to you further and kind of figure out how we can make this suit you best. And then Charles also talking about the exterior wrap here. Can we get it without the exterior branding?
Yes.
Sam, as you touched earlier, yeah, we can do completely custom whatever you want, whether it's the kind of green flowy pattern without any logos, whether it's black, white, whether it's a photo of your face printed over the whole van, we can do whatever people want. And then Seth saying you never introduced yourself, who are you? So do you want to do another intro for the latecomers and just introduce yourself?
Well, I think he's talking about you.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, okay. I'm Nick, so I'm the designer here, grounded, one of the co-founders with Sam. So, yeah, together with me, Zach behind the camera, Anthony here,
Anthony's our lead software engineer, Matt's our lead mechanical engineer, and I'm Sam, CEO.
A little gang here putting these together. And then another one from Kim here asking, is EcoFlow our house battery system, and if not, is it possible to replace it with an EcoFlow?
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. Hey Kim, we don't use EcoFlow for our battery system. We use a LifePo battery that we get directly from a battery manufacturer, and we sort of design our own electrical system. So we source our own LifePo battery, our own charge controller, our own inverter, DC step-down converter, all that good stuff. We integrate it all together with software. We have a computer that we connect to all of it to monitor and control everything. And then we have a mobile app, which I can show too. And the app, the app's integrated with all that stuff. So we write software to, to enable that all to work together, so that you as a user can monitor and control everything from the grounded app. And you can see, GPS, where the van is. You can see power consumption. You can turn appliances on and off. You can see how much solar is coming in. You can see the battery status. We are going to be rolling out pretty soon a software integration with the GM platform too, so that we can bring in the vehicle data as well, like tire pressure low or things like that into the grounded app. That being said, like Nick said earlier, we are pretty amenable in general to kind of exploring with customers features that they want. So if you're just like, I don't want any of that, I'd rather have the EcoFlow system. Kim, I know we talked before and you're interested in that, so that you could actually I think the reason you're interested in that is so that you can actually remove the EcoFlow battery. So you want something that can power the van when you're in the van, but then you could also take it out and just maybe take it to your campsite or something like that, and be able to use it in that dual way. So that's something that we can definitely do, and we can just instead of putting our system in, we could put the EcoFlow system inside instead.
Good timing there with a comment from Aaron saying, sorry if you missed it, but did we already show the app?
Yeah. And by the way, fun fact, one of our advisors who I work really closely with was the co-founder of EcoFlow. So we're very, very familiar with their products and a fan of what they do. So this is the app. It's something that we're constantly working on. So this is, this is still an early version. It's still actively in development. We do a monthly subscription. So the subscription covers Starlink. So we do a Starlink on the roof. It covers the GPS. It covers the vehicle diagnostic data that I mentioned of the vehicle platform. It covers the LTE subscription. So we have an LTE modem in addition to the Starlink, which is what allows you to use this remotely. So you can turn your water heater on when you're finishing up your hike half a mile away, so that it's warm when you get back. By the way, the reason that we have an LTE modem in addition to the Starlink is that the Starlink, Starlink has some limitations. If you're under tree cover, Starlink's not going to work. And Starlink also takes a lot more power than the LTE modem, so it's not something that you necessarily want to have on all the time. And so the LTE modem is just to be able to have your app communicate with the vehicle and everything inside the vehicle, even when you're away. And it helps us to potentially remotely diagnose any issues. So from a customer service standpoint, it's also helpful for us to, you could call us and we could sort of see what's going on through that LTE modem.
The Starlink uses 30 times as much power. That's why you wouldn't want to leave your Starlink on during the times where you're away from your vehicle, because that is just going to drain your battery. But the LTE on the other side will only take like 3 watts to power it. It's a very, very tiny amount of power draw, and it's worth it just to have like the remote access and the capabilities on there to just be able to turn on your heat if it's out on a cold day and you're hiking and you want to come back to a warm van. That's a very useful feature for it.
Cool. So this is the app. And the last thing I was going to say about the subscription is, like, we're continuously adding features to the app, right? So the idea is that this app is going to get better and better and better over time. Even once you already have a van, we're going to be adding, like I said, we're going to be integrating the vehicle diagnostic data from GM into the app very soon. We're going to be adding a road trip planning feature that brings in EV chargers and campgrounds into the app at some point soon. So yeah, keep that in mind. But basically, you've got your battery levels in here. You've got your water tank levels in here. So we have electronic water sensors. We have you can see basically every outlet and every electrical appliance. You can see how much power is being drawn. So like right now, the stove is off. There's kind of a phantom power draw of about 2 watts, which is very small. We could, turn that off through the app. The lights you can control, so you can sort of see, everything that you need to turn things on and off, from the app. What else? Oh, I was gonna just point out a couple random fun things. So.
Just on the point, just whilst we're on app, before you move on, we've got a couple of questions coming in.
Yeah.
From Robert, does the LTE provide local Wi-Fi access?
No.
Yeah, that's a great question. It does not. That's not really what it's intended for.
It's for remote access to your vehicle through the app.
Yeah.
If you want internet, you have to use the Starlink.
Yeah.
The Starlink is connected to a router in there. The vehicle does have Wi-Fi itself, but that Wi-Fi is only connected through Starlink. So that LTE is a completely separate system that's tied to the smart home features of it, and it's tied to the app. But
I think we probably could add that as a feature in the future, like if that's something that a customer wants, either in addition to or instead of the Starlink. It would. The big thing there is going to be costs. There would definitely be additional monthly cost to that, because from just like a data service perspective, you're gonna, we use a very, very small amount of LTE data to just remotely turn your appliances on and off and read the battery levels and stuff like that. If you start browsing the internet, you're going to use a lot of data, so we would just have to figure out the pricing structure. But that's something we could definitely explore if you prefer LTE over Starlink, or if you want that as like a backup option for internet.
And then somebody from Kim, can the LTE be part of your cell phone system? So I think you might cover that.
Can the LTE be part of your cell phone system? I don't know if I understand.
Maybe Kim, if you just clarify that question in the chat, and we'll get back to you.
I guess maybe you're asking if it can be just like from your, like on your cell provider, like on your existing cell phone plan. I guess theoretically it could. I mean, we just use a SIM card inside the modem, so it's definitely possible. We could chat about that if that's something that you want to do.
And then one from Drew Williams, is it rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive or all-wheel?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. This vehicle's all-wheel drive, which is great. Yeah, so we when we did that 1,500-mile Michigan road trip that I mentioned, I think the thumbnail for this live stream was a drone shot that we took on that trip of the van, kind of going up off-roading a little bit up this kind of off-road hill. So it performed really, really well. Like on dirt, on gravel, going up hills and stuff like that.
And then a couple here from M. Johnson. One about us covering the installation specs again, and two, any plans to change the back door. So if I want to reiterate those plans.
Yeah, sounds like this person missed us saying it before. No plans, no concrete plans to change the back door system. We have gotten that question. It's something we thought about. We might consider it in the future, but as of now, there's no plans to change the garage door. Insulation, we've got 2-inch EPS foam all the way around the interior, behind every single wall panel, and in the ceiling. So basically the entire thing is enveloped in 2-inch EPS foam, and then we also use sheep's wool, which is a really environmentally friendly, pretty high R value insulation for our crevices and some of like the harder to reach places on top of the foam. So Matt estimates that our R value is about R15, which is really high.
And then one from Morris Thomas here. Is there an exterior ladder so that we can store luggage or bikes on the top?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Before we answer Morris's question, you can actually see, if you were here earlier, I mentioned, that we build this whole structure before it goes into the van. So this is I think this was from a sort of prototype version, but you can get a sense of what it looks like before it goes in the van. So this is basically our system, but on the warehouse floor, before it goes into the vehicle. So you can see how the whole thing is completely enveloped in 2-inch foam insulation. And then the question, I think Morris asked about a ladder. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's not something we do right now. The roof is not really meant to support weight or anything like that, so we wouldn't recommend having, like a roof rack or something like that. And we do basically coat the whole roof of the vehicle with solar panels and the Starlink, so that's how we get 1,000 watts of solar. Yeah.
Also a question there about what the water heater is.
The water heater is you can choose between a 5-gallon or 7.5-gallon electric water heater.
One from Charles here. Do the house batteries have pre-warming or conditions for cold weather operation?
The BMS does, it does some of that. I don't have the exact specs, but that's something we can definitely follow up with.
And then a couple here from Stephen Levin. One, can the window placement be configured further towards the rear of the bed? I can answer that one, not particularly. I think the way we're avoiding basically obviously to cut through the composite panel of the bright drop wall, we have to avoid their vertical beams that support the roof. And then equally we've got our own panels that we can't cut through either because that's the aluminium that's our internal structure. So while everything is modular, I think the windows are pretty fixed in place right now. If there is a really specific need that you have that we can try and figure out, we can obviously go very custom with you and figure something out, but for the vast majority of use cases, I think this is what we're sticking to. Second question from Stephen there. Can an insect screen be installed in the rear? Yes, that's definitely something we're doing. We're actively looking into that right now. There's already insect screens in all 4 of the really large windows, both pull-down blinds and insect screens, so you can get that natural air coming in without the bugs. And then, yeah, once we get that large one for the rear, you'll have that whole garage door open and no bugs either. And then Drew's asking, Sam, any rental or other try before you buy options available?
Yeah, so we have a rental program here in Detroit right now. So from Michigan Central, we have active listings for both our MVP G1 vehicles, and we have one G2 that's available for rent too. So we can share those links if you follow up with us on the chat on our website or send us an email. We'll share those rental links, and in general, we invite anyone to come to Detroit, come to our warehouse, come check out a vehicle in person. And later this year, we will be attending some events, like some RV shows, overlanding type of conventions, and bringing vehicles around for people to see in person. I think we got about time for maybe one more question.
Yeah. So one last one here from Kim's coming up. Could the interior bath be configured at the extreme rear with our modular system?
Can we take that?
Yeah, so there are some constraints with the wheel wells, obviously specifically for that interior bath setup. You can see down here, for a shower specifically, they may bump into those places with our grid system, but in general, we can work with people specifically to find out exactly what they want and figure an engineer solution basically to work for whatever you may want. So if anyone has any questions about can we do something, yes, it's just a question of like, what do you want, and we'll figure something out for you and make it work.
All right, that's about all we have time for. Let's do one more just speed camera run to the front of the vehicle exterior and then to the interior, just so anyone who is late gets a chance to see the interior one last time. So like I said, exterior outlet, exterior shore power, the EV charger charge port is on the other side in the back. I'm just gonna speed run and reiterate a bunch of stuff for anyone who's late. We can do custom wraps for whatever you want. No logos, all white, custom artwork. We've got 4 windows. Infotainment system has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Google Maps built in, all modern safety features. Modular interior system that's customizable when you order. It's a grid-based system. We have a smaller kitchen if you want it. We can do a closet. We can do indoor shower, outdoor shower. We're toilet agnostic if you want composting, cartridge, dry flush, induction stove, fridge, freezer, pull-out table, bench seating that's customizable, outlets everywhere, a mobile app that controls everything remotely, including all appliances, power monitoring, vehicle diagnostics, queen-size bed. Bed is adjustable. We'll be offering twin bed options for kids in the future. Overhead cabinets can be taken down. All furniture can be rearranged by the customer and upgraded over time. And thanks for watching. That's the G2. Like I said, feel free to shoot us an email, info@groundedrvs. If you go to our website, my face pops up. You can send me a message. We'll get all that stuff. Happy to answer any other questions. We can send sales decks with all specs, photos, more info. Thanks a lot for tuning in.